Hello and welcome to Beachview, our podcast about different things and/or stuff. We're doing our fourth of four albums.
Yes, this has been a very musical month. So today's album we are going to review is Ocean Avenue by Yellowcard.
Yep.
So this is their fourth studio album, and it was released in 2003.
Yeah, it's a very 2003 album.
It is. One review I saw, it said, this album defined an era of young love and recklessness or something like that. But I thought, yeah, that's totally accurate. So
yeah.
It was a good one.
This album, thoughts at the top?
I love this album. I think it's a great album. It, for me, definitely brought back, I think I said this on one of the other albums we reviewed, but brought me back to that time period, where it's like, oh yeah, I remember this album. I haven't listened to it in a very long time, but I just, once I listened to it again, I was like, oh, I love this album. It's so good. What do you think?
It's okay.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. Not my favorite from this genre.
Yeah.
But a lot of pop punk, a little bit of emo in there. I think when it's good, it's good. It's just, there's some parts of the songwriting and the vocals that just aren't my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I could call any of this bad, but it's just not my favorite.
For you. So, were you familiar with Yellowcard?
Yes, I mean, the title song, from this album is very popular.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Good. Well, so I kind of figured it wouldn't be your favorite, but I didn't know whether you would like it or not.
I was trying to look up what Ocean Avenue charted at.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, it hit top 40, yeah.
Okay, so you're definitely familiar with it from that time period.
Well, after.
Okay.
This is a bit before my time, but yeah, because for whatever reason, I've talked about this before, but it feels like the late 2000s, early 2010s, there was a very long hangover of some of the past music.
Yes, I agree.
Where you would hear plenty of songs from the 2000s that were still being treated as though they were new and relevant. I think just as a function of the technology, YouTube and internet radio and stuff. So I was very familiar with this genre and Ocean Avenue in particular because of that, because it was still getting play for 10 years after the fact.
Right. And you're a bit younger than I am, so I didn't know if this album would, resonate with you as it did with me. I didn't know if you were familiar with Yellowcard or, I know you're familiar with this genre, but
yeah,
if you knew these songs in particular or not.
Yeah, I mean, I knew Ocean Avenue and that's it. Yellowcard's a band that never really had the kind of fan base that carried over.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. My Chemical Romance had a fan base, previous album we did. So, that was a way into it, is that people were still talking about them years and years later. But to my knowledge, Yellowcard never had that, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think they had, obviously they had a fan base, and it was, they were popular in this era of music, but I think you're right. I think there's a different fan base to My Chemical Romance that, I think I was sharing how on that group online that this girl was still just lay on the floor and play My Chemical Romance. It's still being talked about, whereas Yellowcard, you don't really hear that kind of thing. So
yeah.
But I was happy to get into this album just because, like I said, it kind of brought me back to that era, that time. I remember cruising around and playing this kind of music. It was just a fun, I think, genre for me. So anyway, I thought it was fun.
Yeah. And before we get into it, something notable about Yellowcard that I didn't know beforehand is that they have a string section in a lot of their songs.
Yes.
violins, cellos, violas, stuff like that.
Yes, and I particularly like that. That's one of the reasons why like I love their music. And you'll probably hear me when we get into the track by track. I probably say violin a lot, even though I don't really like differentiate between like the strings. So just know that I'm going to say violin because that's what I feel like every stringed instrument is. So
I think most of them are violins, but they could be violas. I don't know.
Yeah. I really like the strings. I think at that time in this genre of music, it was a more unique thing. I think definitely. Like it kind of differentiates them. So that's another reason why I especially love this album, so I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah. So, you want to get into the track by track?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so first track, Way Away.
Yep.
So, this is, to me, a classic Yellowcard song. I love this song. It's fast-paced. I think there's a lot of feeling in this one. Like, it's catchy. What did you think?
Yeah, I think this song's really good. A great start to the album, a classic of the genre. Like,
yes.
I think from the opening note, just like that guitar effect, I think is what it is, the timbre on that opening, and then like the guitars kick in and it's really good. The chorus is really good. The strings are cool. And like you said, a lot of feeling, good emotion. It's just a really good way to start an album.
Yes, and this is one that like you'll hear me say this a lot through this album. Like, I catch myself singing every once in a while, just like randomly, like even though I hadn't heard it in like forever, like I'll still be like rocking out to it, So definitely a good feeling song for me.
Yeah. This is, to me, the standout track from this album. Like, I heard this one and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a good one, right?
Yeah. The rest of the album doesn't keep this energy up to me, but...
Yeah. Well, there's a lot more songs that I love, but like this one definitely like I think is a great opener.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, number 2, Breathing. So this one is string heavy from the start. This is also one of my favorites. I think this song is so good. I like how in the lyrics, like he says, things that I was sure of have now filled me with doubt. To me, like this feeling is something that resonates, like, I think, like, as a young adult or, like, a teenager. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of like, it just captures that feeling of, like, you thought you're sure of something and you're kind of unsure. Like, it's, like, a vulnerable kind of feeling. And I think that's what, like, this whole, like, genre kind of sums up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it sounds like, he feels like the end of a relationship has come, but doesn't want to hurt, his love. But I love the end with the music and like the soft vocals, and then it becomes like more urgent, I like that part of the song especially.
Yeah, I thought this song was only okay.
Yeah.
The string section on here wasn't really like doing it for me. There's a particular like sound that the combination of an electric guitar and a string produces that sometimes is just very for me.
You don't like it?
And it was on this song. Like, I don't think this is a bad song, but it's kind of, and the chorus was kind of boring to me, I don't know.
I like how we're like opposites on this one.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't say I disliked it, it's just only okay.
Yeah, okay. I liked it.
This ain't Taylor Swift.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not boring to you, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, well, like I said, good number 2 song. Which brings us to number 3.
Yeah.
Ocean Avenue. So
title
the
track.
album's namesake.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is another popular one. And another favorite, another song that I love. So right off the bat, you have like 3 songs that I really enjoy. I think it's got a good beat. It has like the right tone of emo for me.
Yeah, this one has a little bit of emo, but mostly pop punk.
Yes, and I like that. But I think it's like a longing for a person that he ended things with. And
yeah.
I think that's just like a nice little like sentiment to the song.
Well, and like you were saying on the last one, very much of the genre, know, that's very much those like teenage young adult feelings that you get.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just love that. I don't know why it's like kind of like I don't know. I don't want to say like a fun time in life because, you do have a lot of like uncertainty and like you're growing and learning and, but I think like looking back, like, I don't know, it just like captures that kind of time in your life.
Well, I don't know, like, if these artists were, when they were writing in this space, were intending it for teenagers, but they did end up capturing that teenage emotion really well. And I mean, it's why a lot of teenagers love listening to it for years and years. And I think this song, like, it's a classic of this genre for a reason. Like, it was popular at the time and remains, well known from this era. I think, it's very good at being that particular thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely, I think like the whole, and like you said, this kind of pop punk / emo, I think the whole like emo like really captures those years, and I think that's why, again, like you said, it resonates with that age group. But I don't know, I just love the song. It's a good one. Definitely one that like, I still remember like so well from back in the day.
Yep.
So, number 4, Empty Apartment. So, this goes from, you have like the more energy, and this is kind of like a more chill, like a slower ballad kind of song. To me, like I noticed like the bass like sounds through. I like how toward the end, like the instruments get stronger and the violin is really showcased. I think it's a good one. And I really like the singing at the end too. What did you think of this one?
It's alright. Not my favorite, but it's got its moments. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the lyrics or the vocals, but I like the guitar. I like the strings when they kick in. Thought that was really nice, and I like the bridge, but it's hit or miss. It's got some parts that are good, some parts that are on.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like, it's not my favorite song on the album, but I do like how it's just a little more low key, I guess. A little more chill, but also gets that kind of like frenetic energy coming in at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Life of a Salesman. Okay, tell me what your thoughts are first.
This is kind of a goofy song,
Yeah.
It's kind of whimsical, and the lyrics are like the repeated dad in the lyrics is kind of weird. I mean, it's a nice message and all, but it just kind of goes about it in a goofy way.
So, I don't know why, but like when I was first starting to listen to the song, I thought like, oh, is this like, totally like kind of not like bashing, but like, is it kind of like saying like his dad wasn't there? Life of a Salesman. I don't know, for some reason, like the title, I was just kind of like, oh, his dad wasn't around. But like when I actually listened to it, I was like, oh no, it's like the opposite message. Like,
yeah.
It's like, all about how he looked up to his dad and wants to be the same kind of man, which I thought was sweet. And I mean, I like the peppy violin in the beginning. But I kind of agree with you. Like, I didn't think it was a bad song, but it was a little like, I don't want to say goofy, but it was just like kind of like one of those, it was okay. It was, emo song about his dad. Like, okay.
It's kind of a weird song, because usually when you think this genre, you think of someone going for the opposite.
Yes, that's why I automatically was like, oh, he's about to like, call out his dad on here. And then I was like, oh no, like he like, I was like, okay, that's a nice change.
Yeah.
So I like the message. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit of a weird one. I don't know how I feel about it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't dislike it. It's just kind of like, I mean, I'm not going to go around like singing this, but maybe I'll like, I don't know, take up violin and like play it for dad next Father's Day. I don't know. He'd be like, get out of here. No. But no, it was a cute message, but like, again, it's not one I'm gonna be like rocking out to,
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting into the next one. Okay, Only One.
Yeah.
This is like a sweet romantic song about a love that is now broken. Again, I love this one. I love like the emphasis that kicks in the chorus, and again, the violin is very pretty. I think it's like a pretty song, and it kind of, I think the violin adds to the complexity of like the sound of the music, you know. To me, this is one that like I would turn up loud and like sing my little heart out, you know. Just gives me that feeling, you know.
Yeah, well,
Nah.
I don't remember this one too well, but I don't think like I liked it much.
Okay. I can see that.
It felt too like saccharine musically, for lack of a better term there.
Yeah.
Like,
which is, really I think, why I liked it. Like, I thought it was, like, pretty, but it was, like, again, like, emo enough. Like, you just want to, like, sing to it. You know, like, I don't know. I like this one. So. Yeah. I didn't think you would like this one. It's funny when you know. So, not many notes on that one, huh?
No. Kind of just there.
But the violin is really pretty. Can you agree? But we'll just agree to disagree on that one. All right. So the next one, Miles Apart. Okay, did you not know this one before?
No, I didn't.
Really? Okay, this one I felt like was another popular one. I was wondering if you knew this one or not.
No.
Okay. Well, I think this one is like a catchy little tune. This is another one like I find myself singing from time to time, just like randomly. You know, like some songs, like even though it's like you haven't listened to them in like years and years and years, they just like pop in your head. This is one of those. I think it's great song, reminiscing about like a love from younger years when things were easier. Is the kind of like feeling that's conveyed in this song.
Yeah. I like the guitar in this one. The riffs were like very good pop punk stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a decent pop punk song. Not my favorite, kind of a like part of the whole album is that like not my favorite of this genre, but a solid example of it. And it's decent,
It's decent. I know. I like how I'm like, oh, I love this one too, and you're like, yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
I think you're making me out to be more negative than I actually am here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. That's how it always goes, though, when we review stuff. I'm like, oh, this is pretty. And you're like, no. But no, I like this one. This is another one of those, like, I think was more popular at the time. So, like, I remember it from years ago,
Yeah.
All right, well, moving on. So the next one, 23.
Yes.
This isn't my favorite song. I will say that. This is not my favorite song on the album.
Yeah. I felt about the same way as I like this one as I did the last one, except this one I think is weaker lyrically.
Yeah.
It's still got that classic pop punk guitar in it. It's like a good example of the genre. I like the drum beat on this one.
Yes. I wrote down the same thing.
But like the lyrics are really like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the third and first person switching thing didn't really like I thought that was kind of awkward, I guess.
Yeah.
Not my favorite. And yeah, I don't know. Like honestly, this whole album lyrically isn't my favorite. This may be why I'm typically not someone that cares a lot about lyrics, but maybe that's why I'm like not as big on it. I don't know.
Maybe so. But so I agree with you. I think like good instrumentals in this song. I like the driving beat, but yeah, lyrically it's not as to me it wasn't as catchy as the other songs. It wasn't as like I don't know. I guess just like it didn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
But I mean, still decent song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Next one, View from Heaven.
Yes.
Okay, so this one had a different sound, so...
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah. This one, to me, like, sounds like a fiddle. I don't know if that's...
Yeah.
What it was, but... it's kind of had, like, a hoedown kind of feeling to this song.
Little bit of country in there.
Yeah! I was surprised, and I did not remember this one, but I kind of liked the, just how they kind of mixed it up with this one. Like, yeah, I mean, I liked it. Despite, like, normally I don't like when songs have that country feeling. But exactly what I wrote. Like, this sounds like a hoedown, like, fun kind of, you know.
Well, the lyrics are pretty sad.
The lyrics are sad, but, like, the fiddle to me just, like, gets me going. Like, I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, it was a totally different sound, I think, than the rest of them.
Yeah, this is one of the few places where I did like the lyrics.
Yeah.
I felt like it had that, like, sad but still, like, moving on feeling.
Yes.
And the music really carries that, I think. And even though I don't like country,
yeah.
Like, actually, my first note was, like, what is this? I think I might have, like, out loud said what when I first heard this, but I like it. Like, I like when other genres incorporate a little bit of country.
I do too. And I'm the same exact way. I'm not a fan of country. I don't usually like the country sound. But to me, this was more like, I don't know. I just kept thinking like, I don't know if you're familiar with Amanda Shaw.
No.
Okay, so she's like a Louisiana legend, basically, with the fiddle. And it kind of reminded me more of like that style, like I don't want to say Zydeco, but like more just like, I don't know, I keep saying hoedown. I don't know what other way to say it, because
it has that feeling. Genre. That's a good word for it.
But yeah, but less country and more like that kind of style. But again, like I thought, you know, sad song, but the optimism, I think you like hit a point there, because I feel like the whole album was really kind of like a lot of uncertainty, vulnerability, but with that like ultimately optimistic view.
Yeah,
so I think like, yeah, you definitely hit the nail on the head on that one.
Yeah, and yeah, I like this one.
Yeah.
It's a bit different, but yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah, I agree. And I did the same thing. I was like, whoa, what is this? And then went back and listened again. I was like, okay, I like it. So, same. Okay. So, Inside Out. Catchy little chorus, wouldn't you say?
I don't know. I felt like the chorus didn't feel strong enough. Like, it's... like, I think this is like a decent song, but just sometimes choruses really need to punch, and this one just didn't for me.
Yeah, well...
I don't know.
I think like it's one of those songs that's easy to sing along with, but I have to say it was a little too like emo whiny for me, you know? You know what I mean? Like,
I could see that, yeah.
I don't really get the part like where he says, if you're lucky, I'll be your last regret, your only friend. I don't really understand what that means.
I don't know. I think this is just like about a breakup or falling out or of some sort, and it's just kind of like riffing on that theme.
Yeah, it was just, I was kind of like, what does that mean? And so I kind of spent more time like wondering and less time really like enjoying it, I guess. I mean, it wasn't a bad song, but again, I like the more like kind of like stronger songs, and this to me was like kind of a whiny song. And to me this was like, you know, when people make fun of like the emo kind of sound, and
yeah,
they say it's like just a bunch of whiners. Yes, like I think like that's like, it kind of reminded me more of like the stereotypical like what people make fun of kind of sound, you know.
Yeah, I can see that on this one, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I
didn't hate it
decent
either.
Song.
Yeah, it was pretty good, but it was a little whiny for my taste. But you know, it had, you know, I think it was a good song on the album.
Yeah. Well, next.
Okay, next is Believe. I love the intro to this song. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, like the strong violin melody, or I assume violin, but like good strings, and then the guitars kick in.
Yes, I think it's really pretty. This is another one I remember from when the album came out, and I thought, you know, like it's a good, like positive feeling song despite like the sad theme, you know. But I also saw like an interview on this one that the band made this song into a single. So it's about 9/11.
Yeah.
And if you're old enough to remember that time, that was just such an incredibly sad time. Like it just was, you know, just so sad. Like I still can't even watch, like, you know, when they play those like looking back at 9/11, like shows on TV and stuff, I'm like, I don't want to watch that. Like it was just such an incredibly sad time. But I like that they made this song Believe, because it does have a more optimistic view. So anyway, I saw an interview where the band said that they made this into a single, and they actually wrote a letter to like first responders, and they sent it to all the like addresses that they could find in the tri-state area. And they said, it's like a thank you letter to the first responders, and it was made to lift up spirits. So I love that. And especially just because like I remember 9/11 well, and it's such a beautiful song, like as a tribute to everyone who helped that day, and in the aftermath.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get why it turns out this way, but this is one of the, like, most basic songs I've ever heard. Like, the line, everything is gonna be alright, is repeated. It is just, like...
it's a very basic song, but I think, like, the meaning and the feeling behind it, I mean, I guess, like, I really feel like you had to have been old enough to remember the time,
Oh, yeah, I mean, like I said, I get why you end up here, given the subject matter, and, like, I mean, that is culturally where everything was at. It's just, like, I don't think it's a bad song or a bad message. It just, if you're gonna tell that sort of thing, put a little bit more there, maybe.
I get that too. Yeah, but I just, I think the best part of the song is the intro, to be honest, so.
Yeah, definitely a strong intro.
Yeah, so, we got that. All right, moving on.
Yep.
Next song, 1 Year, 6 Months.
Yeah, it's an acoustic song.
Yeah, I really like this one. I think it is pretty and sweet. Even though, once again, it's like a sad emo topic about, memories of a love lost, but I think it's got like chill vibes, and it has those strings that I like so much. So yeah, I like this one.
It's a bit too poppy to really be emo to me, but it's a decent song.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the emo topic, like the topic of it's emo. Yeah.
Musically, I don't think, but this is a good place to put a softer song in the album, like your penultimate track.
Yeah.
And the strings work really well with that sort of sound, so it's a decent
kind of
song.
Winding down. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah. All right. The next one, or the last one, Back Home. So this one has kind of like a somber tone, but it's also kind of uplifting in a sense, which is what I've been saying about every kind of sad song. But it's about, being in sunny California and everything seeming cool, but like kind of feeling empty about it at the same time. So, it's saying like, I'm sure everyone back home will love it, but it also seems kind of fake.
Yeah, well, it's about being homesick, and also another song about how California kind of sucks. This is the second one we've done for an album.
So funny. Yes, and I was gonna say, like, I think that it's so funny that that people say that about California, and like I've heard like personally like people say, like a couple of people that I knew who like lived there, they're like, yeah, like it's pretty and all, but like super fake. And I'm just like, I'm sure that's only in certain areas. But
it's a big state, yeah.
It's a big state, but I just think it's hilarious when people say that, because it does look beautiful and like, all that, but, some things are surface. So I don't know why that cracks me up when people say California's fake.
Something I thought was interesting about the song, it felt a little bit like post-grunge to me. Like, had a little bit of that in it.
Okay.
Yeah, I like this song. It's a solid song. I like the strings. Thought the chorus was cool, so...
Yeah.
Decent song, all in all.
Definitely agree with that. Like, I think it's, like, a solid song. I have to say, like, I loved other ones on the album more, but this was a good one.
Yeah.
So did you have a favorite track?
Way Away.
Yes, that one's a good one. I don't know which one's my favorite. There were several that I was like, oh, I love this song.
Yeah.
But I think, again, I think this goes back to, like, I really love this album because I remember listening to it, like, I remember, like, having the CD, like, and listening to it. So I think that it's more like nostalgic than anything else. But I do love, I switch up like what I listen to. Right now I'm in a whole like pop punk kind of phase. And I switched up. I still love my low key chill beats, but I will go all over the spectrum. Besides really country, I don't really like country, but right now I'm in my pop punk phase, so listening to a lot of like older stuff, and this was definitely one that like, I just really enjoyed the album.
Yeah, so repeat what I said at the top, like, it's fine, but not one of my favorites of the genre. Like, maybe that's unfair to like compare it to other stuff I've heard, but that's just how I felt listening to it. Like, some of these songs I was kind of iffy on, and none of them, except for Way Away, really blew me away.
Yeah.
Maybe Ocean Avenue, but I'd heard that one before.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a decent album. I liked it alright, but not my favorite.
I love that. I just love how I'm like, I love this one, and you're like, nah, it's okay. But, that's what makes it interesting when we review music, because we have just, like, different tastes, different perspectives, so I enjoy that.
Yeah, the strings were, like, I mentioned that at the top, and we talked about it throughout, but that is definitely a notable inclusion. It definitely gives them their own sound, and I think, even if I didn't always like the strings, it is, like, it is a cool inclusion to this genre.
Yeah, I agree. And I love the strings. Like, I think it's just pretty. I think it makes it more unique. I don't know. I just think it just sounds so good. Like, it just gives them an edge that other groups or musicians in this genre just, it kind of differentiates them, like I said.
Yeah.
So I'm all about it. I'm going to keep listening to this album for a little while I'm in my pop punk phase. So, yeah, I think I'm going to repeat it.
Yeah, well, that's, if you don't have anything else to add, you can take us out and take out our album month.
All right, so that has been 4 weeks of, 4 podcasts of, musical reviews. And I really enjoyed it. I love listening to music and reviewing music. So I think this was a really fun exercise for us. Yeah. And so we hope you enjoyed it too. And join us next time. This has been Beach View. Bye.
Bye.